Hey guys, it's me, Kaylia, and today we're going to be doing Bible study for kids. So today what we're going to be reading is the Great Famine, Genesis 41.53-57. No more rain. For 7 years, the rains had come and the crops grew green and strong, and there was more than enough to eat for everyone. But then one day, the rain stopped. Of course, no one noticed the day the rain stopped. The rain stopped. That's not something you noticed. At first, all those sunny days are great, but then after a while, the grass turns into a little brown, and the crops in the fields begin to shrivel a little. And then later on, the grass turns really brown, and the crops begin to wilt away. Well, that is really weird because in our day, today, it just rains, and then it gets sunny, and it basically gets the grass, because rain is from God. Rain is from God. And because the thunder and lightning makes him mad. And then, or is that wrong? Well, when God cries, it's the rain. So God tears is rain. So, let's get back on with the story. And that's how in the land of Egypt, the rains did not come and the crops began to dry up and die. Everywhere the land was thirsty for water, and there was none. Now you have to remember was a long time ago. And things were quite a bit different than they are now. For one thing, when the sun went down at night, it got dark. There were lights on everyone, like there are now, because electricity wasn't going to be invented for thousands of years. You couldn't go to your tent and flip a switch or to turn on a light or sit down at your computer or watch TV. It was dark everywhere with only the light from the moon and the stars. If you needed more light, you had to light a candle or an oil lamp or build a fire in the fire pit. And when you ran out of bread, you had to make more yourself. You couldn't just hop on a camel and run to the grocery store where you'd find shelf after shelf jammed with all kinds of bread in fancy plastic packages. Well, what I think on this page, when I got done with wrong page, when I got done with the second page, being the first page, when I was done reading this page, and then I was going up this way. In the land of Egypt, the rains did not come and the crops began to dry up and die. That is really sad, but in Florida, they're just green grass until it turns to brown, and then we have to cut it until there can be more green grass. But remember, this was a long, long time ago. So yeah, let's get back with the story. Or you could even use lights back in the day. You couldn't just sit at your computer and watch TV. You had to light a candle from a fire pit or lit an oil lamp. Now let's get back with the story on page 2. No, you had to get out the flour and the yeast in the water and light the fire in the oven and bake your own bread. And if you ran out of flour, you had to go to the storehouse and get some more wheat and grind it up into flour. And if you ran out of wheat in the storehouse, well, then what will you do? What would you do? And if you what would you do? If you ran out of wheat, that was it. You were in trouble. There was no grocery store. You could always run to get more. You had to wait until the next harvest when the wheat had grown up again. These days, it's easy for us to think that everything comes from the grocery store. The shelves are always full. Whenever you ran out of anything, there is always plenty more. It's easy to think, who needs God? We can just go to the store and get everything we need. But that's not how it really is. Everything really comes from God. That is such a beautiful thing to do, because if you ran out of something, you can always go to the grocery store and get something, because it's made out of God. Everything comes from God. Now this is the last page. Let's get back with the story. The last page. If the rain didn't fall and the crops didn't grow and the shelves in the store would be empty, and there would be nothing anybody could do. Only God can make the rain fall and the crops grow. But God is so good and so powerful and so loving. He takes care of us every day. He sends the rain that waters the earth. He makes the wheat for the bread grow, and the corn, and the bananas, and the oranges, and carrots. He even makes fun stuff grow, like cocoa beans and vanilla, so we could have hot chocolate and banana splits. All right. So that is really loving a God, because God can actually do stuff. He can make fun stuff grow. He can make cocoa beans or vanilla to make a banana split or hot chocolate. That is really nice to God, guys. You should thank God every day, because God makes everything for you. So remember, guys, that. And I'll say it at the end of the Bible lesson too. So let's get back with the story. We should thank God every day. He blesses us with so much. But what if he didn't? What if one day the rain stops falling and the crops in the fields didn't grow? Then what would we do? We would have nothing to eat at all. And that's just what began to happen on the land of Egypt. Alright, guys, that was the famine, the Great Famine. So what the story was all about today was we bless God every day. He build the crops, and he can grow really fun stuff and food. And that in the old days, you couldn't go to the grocery store and get stuff to make bread. And yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching the Bible study, and I'm your host Kaylia, and I'll see you guys again next time. Goodbye. And always love God and always pray for God.